What is something you buy regularly that you consider a great deal, value? My local grocery store sells loaves of fresh Italian bread for $1.50 each, and it's just phenomenal. Not great for everyday sandwiches, but with soup or turned into a bread bowl or used as garlic bread, it's heaven. I buy a sheet of books on all kinds of topics I don't even need. Half of them I don't even read. I regret nothing. Buying glasses from the online sellers like Iba Direct or Zenny beats the hell out of paying $200+ per set of frames. Now I can have a couple of different options every year for $100 easy. AAA membership. It's $110 a year for the premium membership, and it is well worth it. A single tow will pay for itself, plus you get several other discounts and services. I'm glad I have it. I rarely use it, but to me it is more than worth it, and I never plan on canceling this service. The 58 Oz box of goldfish crackers we buy at Costco. $10 gives me a little snack in my lunch at work and shuts the kids the fuck up when they get home from school. Also, the box is a good size for those little jerks to make little dollhouses out of as a rainy day craft. 5 would recommend. Rice. Every kind of rice. It's cheap, quick to cook, and goes with damn near everything. Rice also freezes beautifully when cooked, so it's great for meal preppers or people who have leftovers. I cook a lot with rice. Hell, last week I made a salmon risotto and it made 4 portions. I ate one, froze 3 for the next few weeks. You can get huge bags of it too for fairly cheap. Find the right shop and you can get a 10-kilo bag for £1.5-ish. Mid-2000s he tried to paint me as a porno king in high school just to get a girl not to like me cause he had a crush on her. Backfired. They immediately came up to me, asked me about it, and I said I only had one Playboy mag. My 16th birthday, I invited my friends over for a party including dinner. I spent all day cooking with my dad and made beautiful chocolate mousse cups in chocolate bowls. I went all out and I was so proud of the meal. I told everyone that dinner was at 6:30. Nobody showed up until 8:30. They were completely stoned and had a bag of toys from Dollar Tree. I had already cleaned up and put away all the food. They had all been hanging out without me on my birthday and I was still an afterthought. After 25 years of friendship, I announced to my best friend that I was moving to the city she was in. I had a great job opportunity and felt like it was an awesome time to make a big life change. I was so excited to tell her, I could hardly wait. She flatly replied with, "Cool. And when I asked her what parts of town I should look at to live, she stated, I can't help you. You should just figure it out when you get here." We never had a fight, had been close for our entire adult lives, and I had continually helped her in all aspects of her life without hesitation. To this day, I cannot tell you why she started treating me this way. Long story short, we live in the same city and haven't seen each other in 6 years, and I'm quite sure we live minutes away from each other. I will probably never know what happened. In 8th grade, after I switched schools, a friend of mine called me one night and told me a kid I wanted to be friends with killed himself. 3 months later I visit their graduation ceremony and find out he lied to me and that the kid was still alive. My ex got with 2 of my friends after a pretty bad breakup, to the point where it just seemed like she was trying to hurt me, and my so-called friends were willing to do the same to get some action. So I was in the car with a 3rd friend on Thanksgiving Eve telling him how much this was affecting me, to which he replied, "That's so shitty, man, I'd never do that to you." Well, that Christmas the very next month another friend shows me a picture of that friend and my ex together on Instagram. They started dating shortly after that. wouldn't stop judging me for the dumbest things, wouldn't stop cussing me out for no reason, said I was academically dumb. They always came to me for help though, said I wasn't street smart, I can kinda agree with it, told me my hobby, activity I do, and will get me nowhere in life. I never said I wanted to do it as a job. Luckily I blocked them out of my life and don't deal with them anymore. Promised to invite me to a group outing, only to text me one day out of the blue that they already left, and oh well, from mutual friends who went on the outing, they told me that this friend never told them that I was invited. It was my 17th birthday. I had invited 2 of my best friends to stay the night. I waited for hours and finally got the text saying they got in trouble, they were twins, and couldn't stay the night. About an hour later they were tagged in pictures. They were at another girl's house. I confronted them the next day and they stuck with their lie and said their mom wouldn't drive them because they were in trouble, so they walked to this other girl's house. My mom asked their mom because she knew how hurt I was. She didn't even know about my birthday, and they weren't in trouble. I stopped hanging out with them. Learned a few months later that one of them had decided she didn't like me because her 20-year-old crush, another friend's brother, had said it was a shame I was a minor because he thought I was cute. When I moved home from college I texted some of my old friends to meet up for my birthday dinner, a drink or so, no biggie. About half said they couldn't come but a few never even replied, really showed how much they cared. I had a very close friend in high school. She moves to Alabama for uni after we graduated, but we kept close. When she came back we didn't talk much, but I still considered her a close friend. We went out for coffee about 2 years ago. She kept asking me about my life and my goals and I said I was happy where I am. I coach gymnastics, and my boyfriend and I will eventually take over his family farm and start our own family. She texted me 2 days later and said, "Hey, so my entrepreneur friend is hosting a workshop. Do you want me to sign you up?" I said no but thanks for the offer. She then texted me, "So clearly we are at 2 different points in our lives. You have no goals or ambitions, and I don't want that kind of negativity in my life. I wish you the best," and I never spoke to her again. I drive 6 hours one way, twice in the span of a year to visit this fucker because I thought we were friends and he acted like we were. It cost me $300 each time to visit him, but he was alone in his new city. He moved away for his first job post-uni, and kept messaging me saying I should come visit blah blah blah. Later I find out this guy has came back to my town multiple times and didn't hit me up once, and he stayed for months at a time. Then I tell him about this and he says okay, he'll visit next time he's back in town. So then next time comes around and he stops by literally right before he's about to drive home, to say hi for 5 minutes. Like, dude, you don't wanna see me? Why are you just going through all this BS and making me waste my money? We were friends since babies. Our moms worked at the same place. My mom saw him as her own child and frequently he was at our house after school. Because her mom was kind of absent, his family moved out of the state, but we kinda kept in touch. Then he came back, while we were on our 20s. My mom was going to start remodeling the house. He insisted on helping us since he was working with the construction company. Long story short, he said he needed some money for the construction permits. In hindsight it wasn't even that much, but he took the money and we never saw him again. He even blocked me on Facebook. We later found out that the permit costs was a fraction of the money he took. Biggest pain in the heart was watching my mom crying, disappointed that her own son would do that to her. So fuck him. I offered to pay everything and even pay her for her time off work for my best friend to come to my wedding, but she didn't. It was a really small backyard wedding and I didn't have any bridesmaids, nor did I want anyone to spend money getting dresses, blah blah blah. I just wanted her to come. The excuse she gave was work, and so I understood, but then later found out she lied and had planned a trip with her other friends. I still don't know why she didn't want to come. We were friends for over 10 years, and although it wasn't the first time she had really hurt me, it was the last. I sent my friend who was supposed to be in my wedding a text message telling her that my now husband and I had decided to elope before he deployed to Afghanistan because we wanted to be married just in case he didn't make it home, but that we would still be having the big wedding when he came home, and I was so excited for her to be a part of that. She never responded and hasn't spoken to me since. My husband and I just celebrated our 3rd anniversary. When I was 14-16, I lived in a granny flat at the back of my mom's house. I had a big group of friends who would stay every weekend. We'd have drinks, movie nights, just hang out really. We were like a family and were all really close. Then Mom put our house on the market and I lost contact with every single one of them. I think that's still the most used I've ever felt, probably because the friendships meant so much to me, and I feel like they faked the whole thing for a place to stay. I had been seeing a girl for several months. We were unofficially official sort of thing, introduced each other as BF, GF and all that. Had my birthday come around and had some friends over for drinks. One of those was Aaron. He was the last guy from our school friends group that I was still friends with. Pretty sure that was my 22nd, so we'd been friends for a while. My GF was drinking a fair bit and decided that I wasn't giving her enough attention and was flirting with him a bit. I didn't really mind. She was drunk and I figured it wouldn't go anywhere since I trusted him. GF was absolutely plastered by the time things wound down and everyone started going home. Aaron was drunk and was going to be sleeping on the couch. The two of them ended up on the couch making out and who knows what else. She started throwing up not long after, and that sobered her up enough to realize what she was doing. The next morning he acted like we were still friends and I was just quietly waiting for it to be long enough that he could drive home. I blocked him on everything the moment he left and had a talk with my GF. Ended up forgiving her due to how drunk she was and how sorry she was. Found out a few days later that at least 2 of my other friends had been telling Aaron that he needed to stop because she was my GF and he just made excuses and ignored them. Looking back, it wasn't really a surprise. He'd started dating my ex a month after she broke up with me, then cheated on her with one of his little brother's drunk friends and got dumped. Years ago, almost all of my friends abandoned me when I was suicidal and had to go into hospital for a few weeks. It made my depression so much worse to know that sharing how I felt just scared people away. Luckily, I spent a lot of time in therapy and made a huge effort to put myself out there in my local music scene, and now I have a completely new, much larger and more genuine circle of friends. Smile. They called me up and invited me over to play a game with them and their friends. At the time I had only barely started driving, but I decided, yeah, that sounds like fun. So I went over to play. When I arrived, I found out that they had volunteered me to pick up the other friends. I was not prepared to do this, but she trapped me because I had already agreed to come play with her friends. I was pretty annoyed by this, but I went ahead and drove to 3 places picking everyone up, and no one was really ready to go when I arrived, and one of them also needed me to drop them back on campus to drop off their school assignment. By the time all was said and done, it was really late and I needed to get back home because I had to get up in the morning to go to work. Not one of them even said thank you. The friendship didn't really last much longer after that. When another friend, A, basically ghosted me and this friend, B, for a year or 2, he came into contact with him again and they became best buds. which I didn't much care for but found quite odd. What's weird was that B had been claiming I wouldn't be willing to reconcile with A. Found it all very strange to make such claims, and for these dudes to act in such a petty manner without even asking or confronting me, but luckily I have much more genuine friends. Hooked up with my ex-husband behind my back, then had the audacity to bring him to the hospital to see my dad when I was there visiting with my new husband and small children. My husband and ex had never met before, not since, either. It was awkward. I stopped talking to her after that day. We were friends for 25 years. They all bailed on my college graduation and graduation party, and then accidentally included me on an email thread about all of them coming up with different excuses for missing my big day. It made me feel incredibly alone, and I had no idea that they viewed me in such a negative light. As an adult I realized they were jealous. But back then, just assumed I had a major character flaw and started isolating myself from people. They're trying to gaslight me because I'm thinking of selling the place I'm letting them stay at and not using the money to buy them a new place to live. Also, they're pretty messy and saw that they caused enough damage that it'll take a while after they move out to go to market. The latter part is not because of the move itself, but just a really shitty thing for them to do. Edit. They knew I've been thinking about selling it since last year. This year was the final nail in the coffin with the property management team, whom they despise as well. I know as hard it is to find places with COVID going on, I didn't spring this on them at the last minute. I had a friend for about 2 years. We ended up both working at the snack bar in junior high. He got caught stealing food, dumb for a lot of reasons, but especially because his parents sent him to school every day with money. He got caught and never talked to me again. Reflecting on it at the time, I realized I only ever called him and was a friend of convenience. Now, I'll give friends breaks if they don't want to stay connected. I don't need to force anyone to be in my life. I have one best friend and would literally take a bullet for him. We've been friends about 15 years and can trust him with everything. I always suspected but kept going back and forth. He's treated me differently every day, but there was one day where I knew. He took a picture of me. We like to take embarrassing pictures of each other and post it on a group chat. It came out really good. Everyone on the table commented how good it came out. I said to him, to gauge his response, send it to me, I'll make it my profile picture. I think I knew he'd pull something. He looked me right in the eye and deleted it in front of face and followed by saying, sorry I deleted it, man. I had a broken laundry basket for about half a decade. I splurged $10 on a new one. Life changed forever. I also advocate for buying good quality pillows. Original art from Etsy/eBay/Patreon/whatever. It supports a person, not a business. It's funky. I can cram a bunch of them together in frames on my walls and it looks good. It costs less than a $50 print from a warehouse somewhere. I buy 1 or 2 a month, and my house looks really good to me. A carrier bag from an airport I fly through regularly. The airside shops have a deal that anything bought there can be brought onto the plane in addition to your hand luggage. I just bought the carrier bag and fill it with stuff that wouldn't fit in my case. I do it all the time, and nobody's ever stopped me. Electricity. It's less than 10 cents per kWh where I live, and I blast the AC or heater to maintain best comfort, and my bill comes out to less than $100 a month, which I gladly pay. If I didn't live comfortably, my bill would be like $40 less, which is definitely not worth the comfort sacrifice. I bought the SodaStream to cut down my spending on cases of LaCroix. Best investment I've made in a long time, and I do the canister swap, refill once every 3 months. $1.15 every 3 months versus $4/case/week is a great savings. And it's healthy too. I've cut out nearly all non-water drinks from my diet, and yes, I know I can invest in a self-refill setup and save even more, but I'm not there yet. Edit, math typo. It costs $50 to have someone change the oil on my car, and I do it once a year. It frustrates me to know and that change your own oil is such a common money-saving life hack when it's such an obvious thing to pay someone else to do. Super cheap and saves you lots of time and effort.